गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Dear friends, in the last class we completed the last mantra of the Ishavasya Upanishad, that is the 18th mantra. Agne Naya Supatha Raye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan. That shloka, that mantra we completed. And then again we started the concluding lines of Shankaracharya. At the end of the Bhashyam, Sri Shankaracharya, he wanted to clarify some doubts regarding certain words which have been used in this Upanishad. The words which are used are Vidya and Avidya, Sambhuti and Asambhuti. So more than Asambhuti and Sambhuti, he dwells on Vidya and Avidya. Normally the meaning of Vidya, we just started that discussion in the last class. I think we will complete the discussion today and also do a summary of this particular Upanishad. It will be over maybe in a half an hour or so. The summary will be over in half an hour. This discussion may take about half an hour. So anyway, the discussion is about the words Vidya and Avidya. In most of the places in the Upanishads, the word Vidya refers to Brahmajnana, most of the places. But in some places, you have to see the context. You have to see the context, see the overall doctrine, and keeping the overall doctrine in mind, you have to see what meaning you have to give to that particular word at a particular place. So in some places, the word Avidya refers to karma. In some places, Vidya refers to not to Brahmajnanam, but to Upasana. Upasana is meditation on a Saguna deity. So meditation of a Saguna deity, which we see in chapter 8 of Gita and also chapter 12. So chapter 8 of Gita particularly talks about the Saguna Upasana. So like that, the Upasana, Karma, Upasana and Jnanam, there are three stages, isn't it? So Karma is at the basic level. That is Karma also, that not the Kamya Karma, but the Nishkama Karma. Kamya Karma is still lower. Kamya Karma is only one step above the Nishiddha Karma. Nishiddha Karma is something which is the prohibited action, the anti-social activity. So a person who is doing Kamya Karma, he is not doing anti-social activity, but he is not doing anything good for the humanity or state or people. And then the Nishkama Karma, a person who is practicing this Nishkama Karma, you know what is Nishkama Karma? We have dwelt on it for a long time in Gita Bhashyam and other places. So Nishkama Karma, a person who is putting himself in the shoes of the Creator, and then who performs actions as per the directions of as per the divine will. So keeping in mind the divine will and the divine scheme, he all his actions, they are so purified that whatever he does is for the welfare of humanity. Loka Sangraham. Loka Sangrahamevartham. That is what Lord Krishna says in Gita. So that is one level. And that gives Chitta Shuddhi. Though it does not eradicate the previous karmas. Karma, what is this Nishkama Karma, does not give you Karma Phala right now, because you are not asking for the Karma Phala. But whatever has been done in the previous lives, all that Sanchita Karma will still be there. That will not be nullified. Sanchita Karma can be nullified only by realization, self-realization, that is by Jnana. So one cannot stop at the level of Nishkama Karma. And then, in addition to help this Nishkama Karma, there is what is called Upasana. Nishkama Karma gives the purity of mind. Then Upasana gives ability to concentrate, concentration of mind, meditate on a higher, divinity. So that advantage is there. So that is called Vidya, that is referred to as Vidya in this particular, Upanishad, in the 9th mantra and the 9th, 10th, 11th mantras. That is Vidyancha, Vidyancha, Yes Tadvedo Bhayagum Saha, those mantras. So on that there is a discussion now. So that discussion we started in the last class. We read, I think, this line. Where did we stop? We read one line. Saha sambhavanupapatte. So up to that point, I think we read. So I will just recapitulate. The Purva Pakshi, or the person who is objecting, he says, no, why can't we take the main meaning itself for Vidya? Main meaning means Brahma Vidya. The main meaning and secondary meaning. The main meaning is Brahma Vidya. The secondary meaning is Upasana. Instead of taking the meaning Upasana, why can't you take it as Brahma Vidya itself? So then the Siddhanti said, Siddhanti means the doctrine, the person who is advocating the doctrine, he says, no, it is not correct. Avidyanushtanam vidyopasanam cha shastra pramanakam tatha yatha nahim syat sarva bhutani etc. This we have seen. Adhvare pashum himsyaditi evam vidya vidyorapi syad vidya karmanoscha samuchayah. He says, you see, the Purva Pakshi is saying, you see, Vedas at some places says there should not be any himsa, there should not be any violence. Then again at some other place it says Adhvare pashum himsyat. Adhvara means a yajna. In a yajna you can kill an animal, not otherwise. So which means that what has been said in one place, it has to be read in association with other things. So similarly, there can be some sort of combination of these two. You can do karma, you can do this karma, and also you can say go for Brahma Jnana. Why can't there be a samuchaya? So that is what he said. So then the Siddhanti said, no, it is not possible, because they are so totally, they are like polar opposites. They are so diametrically opposed. Duramete viparite vishuchi yacha vidya iti shrutehe. Duramete viparite vishuchi. Duramete means they are so far apart. And then vishuchi, pointing in different directions. Suchana means indication. They are indicating in different directions. Then vishuchi, duramete, viparite means contradicting. That is it. Vishuchi, avidya cha vidya. Avidya and vidya are so mutually contradicting. Then he also said, hetu swarupa phala virodhat. So in the case of vidya and avidya, the hetu is different. Hetu is something in the case of vidya. Hetu is something else in the case of avidya. In the case of avidya, what is the hetu? Hetu means the motivating factor, the cause. What is it? That is kartrutva bhavana. I am the karta. I want to achieve this. So that kartrutva bhavana is the motivating factor. Whereas in the case of Brahma Vidya, it is not kartrutva bhavana. It is basically a question of mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam is the desire in moksha, desire in liberation. So the hetu here is different, hetu there is different. Hetu here is to attain some loka. Hetu there is not to attain some loka, it is basically to attain, say, knowledge, attain, say, self-knowledge. Then phala. Phalam also, the phala swarupa is different. Phala swarupa. Swarupa means the nature of the result of that, say, vidya and nature of the result of avidya. They are two different things. The karma phala, that is the result of avidya. The result of avidya is, what is it? You go to some Pitruloka or some other Swarga or something like that. It is something which is ephemeral. It is there for some time and again you have to come back. There again you are not liberated from this cycle of transmigration. Whereas in the case of knowledge, the Swarupa is totally different. The Swarupa is, once it is real, once the moksha is there, then there is no question of coming back. You are liberated from that cycle of liberation, cycle of rebirth and birth and death. So that is a totally different thing. The Swarupa is different. Hetu Swarupa Phala. Phalam is here this Svargaloka, there phalam is moksha. So like that, Hetu, Swarupa and Phala, all these three things, they are totally different in the case of Vidya and Avidya. So there cannot be any sort of samuchaya or a combination of these two things. Then again, this is the Purva Pakshi said, Vidyancha Vidyancha iti vachanad, we read this line also in the last class, Vidyancha Vidyancha iti vachanad avirodha iti chet. Then he says, the text also is saying, Vidyancha Vidyancha yes tadveda uhayagam saha. So because this text is here saying, why can't there be samuchaya? He says, na vidya vidya virodha virodhayoho vikalpa asambhavat. That is, vidya avidya, Virodha avirodhayoha vikalpa sambhavat. Vikalpa means an alternative. In the case of Vidya, Vidya means Brahmajnana. Let us take the main meaning here. Main meaning only has to be taken right now. So in the case of Brahmajnana, the Brahmajnana is something which is called Vastu Tantra. Vastu Tantra means you have to know what is that Brahman. There is no, it is not Purusha Tantra. In the case of a karma, suppose you are doing a yajna. In the yajna, you can do this yajna or some other yajna or some other yajna. You may do it in a particular way, you may do it in some other way. Kartum, akartum, anyatha kartum, etc. They say. Kartum, akartum, anyatha kartum. Anyatha kartum means you may do it, you may not do it, you may do it in a different way. So all that liberty is there. And also like, for example, in karma, there is what is called a vikalpa, alternative. In one place the text says, Udite juhoti. Udite juhoti means you have to perform this yajna after the sunrise. Udite means Suryasya udayanantaram. Juhoti. He offers that say oblation. Then on another place it says Anudite juhoti. You have to do it before sunrise. So there is a vikalpa. Vikalpa means an alternative. You can either do this or that. So in the case of karma, there is a vikalpa sambhava. There is a possibility of a vikalpa, possibility of an alternative. But in the case of jnanam, there is no possibility of alternative. You see, Brahma Jnanam, you say Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. You have to understand what is Satyam, you have to understand what is Jnanam and what is Anantam. So apart from that, there is no alternative. So that is Vikalpa Asambhavat. Then here again Purvapaksha says, Samuchaya Vidhanat Avirodha Eveti Chet. No, he is still foolhardily or doggedly he is saying, Samuchaya Vidhanat, because Samuchaya has been Vidhanam. Vidhanam means it is Vidhi. Vidhi means a mandate. Vidhanat means because it is mandated. Because it is mandated, Avirodha eva, because it is mandated, there is no contradiction. Chet. So here we are now, we have to read from here. Now we have to read. The Siddhanti says, Na Saha Sambhavanupapattehe. Saha Sambhavanupapattehe. Okay. The Purvapaksha and Siddhanta are coming in short lines here in this passage. So we have to see where Purvapaksha ends and where Siddhanta starts. So here this is Siddhanti. That is, Siddhanti is Shankaracharya, let us say. Shankaracharya is replying, no, Saha Sambhava Anupapattehe. It is not possible for these two to exist in a particular person at the same time. Because in the morning you are doing karma and in the afternoon you are doing jnana, it is not possible like that. So, maybe earlier in your life, maybe for some time you did karma, what is this karma yoga? Then again you did say dhyanam and all that. Later you came to the level of knowledge. That is okay. But right now, you can't have both the things. One in the morning and one in the afternoon. In the morning you can't be a karmatha, and in the afternoon you can't be a jnani. Because a person who is doing a yajna karma, he is doing with the notion of I. Whereas the jnani, he has no notion of I. So that is what is the basic point is that jnani, he has no notion of I. Whatever he does, that is karma abhasa it is. Whatever he does, it is apparently a karma, but not something which is accruing a phalam to him. Whereas if he is doing some karma in the morning, and then he says, I am a karta. When he says, I am a karta, then again he is asking for the fruit of the thing. Then obviously he is not a jnani. These two things cannot coexist. There is a sort of clash of, a split personality, as I said earlier. So, na saha sambhava anupapattehe. Then kramena ekashraye syatam vidyeti chet.
Kramena ekashraye syatam vidyeti chet.
Na vidyotpattau avidyaya hyastatvat tadashraye avidyanupapattehe. He says, Purvapaksha again says, Kramena ekashraye syatam. Syatam means okay, let us allow it to be like that. Syatam, isn't it? Syatam. This syatam is dvivachana. Let us assume that both are there. Let us assume both are there in a sequence. Kramena. Kramena means not in the early part of life and the later part of life. Kramena means in the same person at the same time, In the morning you do it and then afternoon something else. So like that, Kramena. Kramena ekashraya syatam. Ekashraya means in one person itself. Ashraya. Ashraya means the person here. Ashraya, karma and vidya, they are, the ashraya for them is a person only, isn't it? Ashraya means a support. Ashraya means the base, let us say. Who is the base or a support here? It is a person who is performing them, who is doing them. So, Kramena, ekashraya syatam. Let us assume that both the things are there in one person, because in a sequence. Vidya, vidya, vidya and avidya. Iti chet, na vidyotpattau avidyaya hyastatvat. Avidyaya hi astatvat. He means because. Vidyotpattau avidyaya astatvat. Because once he has this realization, vidyotpattau means once this vidya is, this vidya has dawned on him, vidya has dawned on him, that is, realization has dawned on him, then avidyaya hyastatvat. Avidya has disappeared. Astatvat. Astam. Astamaya, you know, Surya Astamaya. Astamaya is disappearance. Huh? So, astatvat, because it has disappeared. Then tadashraya. Tadashraya means the ashraya for these two. Ashraya for the vidya and avidya. Who is the person? The person. In the same ashraya, avidya anupapattehe. A person who has realized, in the same person there is no possibility of an avidya. There is no possibility of again this kartrutva bhava. Where a person has realized totally that kartrutva bhava has disappeared, in the same person, again you can't say that there will be kartrutva bhava also. That is it. Then again he is elaborating it. Nahi agnihi ushnaha prakashashcheti vijnanotpattau.
Nahi agnihi ushnascha prakashascha, ushnaha prakashascha iti vijnanotpattau.
Yasminnashraye tadutpannam.
Yasminnashraye tadutpannam.
Tasminnevashraye.
Tasminnevashraye.
Shitaha agnihi.
Shitaha agnihi.
Aprakasho va.
Aprakasho va.
Ityavidyayaha utpattihi.
Ityavidyayaha utpattihi.
Napi samshayo ajnanam va.
Napi samshayo ajnanam va.
Okay. So Siddhanti is elaborating. Nahi, this na will apply, connect to the end. Na will connect to that what is he saying, what he is going to say at the end. Agnihi ushnaha prakashasya iti vijnanotpattau. Let us stop there. That is, once that knowledge has arisen, that fire is something which gives you heat and also light. Agnihi ushnaha, it gives, ushna means it is hot, it gives heat. Prakashasya, it also gives light. Iti vijnanotpattau. Once that knowledge has arisen, then yasminnashraye tadutpannam, in the same person in which that knowledge has arisen, tad knowledge has utpannam, it is arisen. Yasminnashraye, the ashraya, the person in which that knowledge has arisen. Tasminnevashraye, in the same person, tasminnevashraye, there cannot be a contradictory knowledge. You have realized that Agni is hot and bright. In the same, in your own mind, you can't again have a notion that Agni is cold, Agni is something which is dark. You can't have it. Tasminnevashraye shitah agnihi aprakashaha. Agni, fire is cold. Aprakashaha, it doesn't give light. So such knowledge, it is impossible in you. Iti avidyayaha utpattihi na. This na has to connect it here. Na avidyayaha utpattihi. So that sort of avidya, that sort of ignorance will not arise in such a person. Na api, and also not. Na api means and also not. What? Samshayaha ajnanam va. Samshaya means a doubt. Ajnanam or ignorance about the thing. There cannot be any sort of doubt or ignorance about what you have already realized. Then yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhud vijanataha iti shokamohad yasambhavashrutehe avidya sambhavat tad upadanasya karmanaha api anupapattim avochama. Okay. So he is saying, so he is referring to an earlier say mantra in the same Upanishad. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhut vijanata. This is the 7th mantra. A person in whom, say a person who had realized the oneness of all beings, sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhut. He has realized oneness of his self with all the beings in the whole universe. Atma, Sarvani Bhutani Atma Eva Bhut. All the beings have become his own self. He has identified himself like that Shuka Maharshi. I was giving example of Shuka Maharshi. Sarvatma Bhava. So that Sarvatma Bhava, a person who has realized that, in the same person, iti Shokamohad Yasambhava Shrute, the next line says, Tatra ko mohaha kashokaha, it said, where is the question of delusion? Where is the question of sorrow? In the person who sees Ekatvam Anupashyataha. So, iti Shokamohad Yasambhava Shrutehe, because there is a Shruti, this Shruti is saying that this Shoka and Moha are impossible in such a person who has got that vision. Once you have that vision of oneness, there is no possibility of a Shoka or Moha. So, in some such person, Avidya Asambhavat, because this Avidya is something which can never arise, then Tad Upadanasya Karmanaha api Anupapattim Avachama. Tad Upadana means the karma for which this avidya is the upadanam or raw material. What is the raw material for karma? Avidya. It is because of avidya that a person is going after karma. So, avidya is the upadana. You know what is upadana? Upadanam is the material. Upadana karanam and nimitta karanam, you know. Clay is the upadana karanam or the material cause, and the potter is the nimitta karanam or the instrumental cause. So here upadana we can simply the material. Tad upadanasya karmanaha, that is avidya upadanam yasya tasya. You have to take it like that. Tad upadanasya avidya upadanam yasya tasya karmanaha. We have to take like that. That is the karma for which avidya is the upadanam. The karma for which avidya or ignorance is the raw material. So for that also, Anupapattim Avachama, we have already told about the impossibility of this thing. In whom? In a realized person. In a person who has seen oneness, this sort of avidya cannot arise. Is it clear?
Yes.
This tadupadanasya karmanaha. Then, amrutam ashnute iti apekshikam amrutam. Vidya shabdena paramatma vidya grahane. Vidya grahane. What does your book say? Vidya anugrahane. Oh, Vidya anugrahane also it can be there. Vidya grahane is more clear. Hiranmayena ityadina dwaramargadi yachanam anupapannam syat. Tasmad upasanaya samuchchayah न परमात्म विज्ञानेन इति यथा अस्माभिर्व्याख्यात एव मंत्राणाम अर्थः इत्युपरम्यते. ओके, अर्थ इति उपरम्यते, अर्थः इति इत्युपरम्यते. So now these are the final concluding words. He is saying Amrutam Vidyaya Amrutam Ashnute. That Amrutam, the Purvapakshis idea was, why can't it be the absolute Amrutam? In this Amrutam also we have seen two levels, absolute and the relative level. Going to Swarga, going to some other heavenly world, or going to some other Loka, Indraloka, Chandraloka, etc. These are all say relative Amruta. It is there for some time. It is much longer than life. So that is why we are calling it Amruta. From our point of view it is Amruta, but not from the absolute point of view. From the absolute point of view, the only Amruta is when you are totally devoid of the whole phenomenal existence. You are totally free from this cycle of birth and death, totally free from this cycle of transmigration. That is possible only with the knowledge of self. So that is the relative, that is the absolute Amrutatva. So here we can't Amrutatva Shruti is also apekshikam. Apekshikam means it is relative. Iti apekshikam amrutam. Then vidya shabdena paramatma vidya grahane. If you take that vidya grahane, if you don't take this, the one more difficulty he is saying. What is this? Vidya shabdena paramatma vidya grahane. If you take this by this vidya shabda, if you take this Paramatma Vidya only, one more problem is arising. What? Hiranmayena ityadina dwaramargadi yachana. So we saw in that mantra, Hiranmayena patrena satyasyapi hitam mukham. There he is asking for opening the door. There is a marga, there is a procedure, there is a going. This going to one place and coming back, etc., it arises only in the case of an upasana, not in the case of jnana. So you can't take the main meaning. So that is what he says. Vidya Shabdena Paramatma Vidya Grahane, one more problem will arise. If you take by that word Vidya, if you take Paramatma Vidya, one problem will arise. What is that? It is contradicting what is said in Hiranmayena Patrena. Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasyapi Hitam is said. So where he is asking for the Marga Yachana. He is asking for the route. You please lead me. Till the end he is saying Agneyanaya Supathara Yasman. This Vidya Karma Samuchaya he has done. Vidya Karma means Upasana Karma Samuchaya he has done. So Dwaramargana Yachanadi Anupapannam Syat. It won't fit in. It will be it will not be appropriate to mix these two things. Then Tasmad, therefore, Upasanaya Samuchayaha na Paramatma Vijnanena. So this Samuchaya has to be with Paramatma, this Upasana only, and not with Paramatma Vijnana. That is it. Upasanaya Samuchaya na Paramatma Vijnana. So Samuchaya has to be with Upasana and not with Brahma Vidya. Iti Yatha Asmabhir Vyakhyatāha, as has been commented upon by us, Asmabhihi. Shankaracharya is using a plural for say Asmabhihi Vyakhyatha, as commented by us. Tadeva mantranam artha saeva mantranam artha ityuparamyate. That is the meaning of mantra ityuparamyate. So I am concluding like this. Let us read the last line. Iti Sri Govinda Bhagavat Pujyapada Shishyasya
श्रीमद् गोविंद भगवत पूज्यपाद शिष्यस्य
Paramahamsa Parivrajakācāryasya
परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्यस्य
Sri Shankara Bhagavatah Krutau
श्री शंकर भगवतः कृतौ
Īśāvāsyopanishad Bhāshyam Sampurnam.
ईशावास्योपनिषद भाष्यम संपूर्णम. So
thus ends the commentary of Sri Shankara, who is the Paramahamsa Parivrajakācārya. Paramahamsa means the supreme, a person who has attained that supreme level of discrimination. Hamsa is something which has that highly discriminates, isn't it? If there is milk and water, it takes only the milk. And Paramahamsa, that supreme level of discrimination he has attained, so that is Paramahamsa. Parivrajaka, he has totally renunciate. So such a person who has renounced. So the commentary done by him. So that on the Īśāvāsya Upanishad. So thus ends the commentary. So now let us do a little bit of summary of this Upanishad. So we have seen in the beginning, we started the Upanishad by talking about what is an Upanishad, what is the nature of Upanishad, what does an Upanishad say, etc. We have seen. I briefly explained as to what an Upanishad says. Upanishad, the idea is to say about the knowledge of the self. Upanishad tells you about what is creation. Upanishad tells you what is the supreme reality and what is your relationship with supreme reality. And it also says what are the means to realize that supreme reality. So these 3-4 things the Upanishad says. Even small Upanishads they do say. Even in this Upanishad we have seen the very opening line. It is said Isha, what is the final goal? That also the Upanishad says. The final goal is told in the very first shloka mantra here. Isha Vasyamedagam Sarvam. One has to have that vision of Ishvara in the whole universe. You should know, if you are seeing the universe as universe, that is at the level of avidya only and not at the level of a realized person. A realized person sees the whole universe as a manifestation in that supreme reality. So that is what it said. And at the same time, in the very next mantra it said, say for somebody who is not capable of it, somebody who is not capable of arriving that particular level of realization, it said, Kurvanneveha karmani jijivishet shatakam samaha. It said, the second mantra said, Kurvanneveha karmani jijivishet. So for somebody who is not able to realize that level, reach that level, so what is the next best he has to do? He has to do this Kurvanneveha. It is not a mandate that the fellow has to live for 100 years by doing karma. It is only an option given to somebody who is not able to realize that Brahman. So that we have to see. Jiji Vishet is not an order. Jiji Vishet is not an order. One has to live like that. It only says, if he is not able to do that, let him do this. So then here we have seen the the indication of a karma yoga also. Evam tvayi nanyatetosti na karma lipyate nare. That karma lepa. Karma will not taint a person. Karma will not taint a person when? It is only when it is karma yoga. So this karma yoga is what is implied here in this particular mantra. Then we come to this third mantra, which again makes a sort of policy statement. What? It talks about Asuryana mate lokaha andhena tamasa vrtaha. So all these lokas, it is talking about somebody who is doing a kamya karma. Somebody who is not a jnani, not even a karma yogi. He is doing kamya karma only. So it is talking about the achievements of this person. What are the achievements of this person? He achieves a particular loka. He achieves some Swarga loka or some other loka. So that is as bad as a demonic loka. He says, Asuriya nama. They are almost on par. They are on par with the demonic lokas. Because if you go to a demonic world also, you are coming back. If you go to Swarga loka also, you are coming back. Then what is the great difference? For some time you may enjoy some happiness, you may have some happiness, then again you are coming back. So, andhena tamasa vrtaha. There is no scope for enlightenment there. It is say covered with darkness. Andhena tamasa, blinding darkness. So this andham tamaha is repeatedly used in this say Upanishad. So andhena tamasa, that is by blinding darkness they are pervaded. How? That is because there is no scope for knowledge. There is no scope. You go and you are dancing with some rambha, drinking some wine, and then where is the scope for Brahma self-realization? So then loka, for the word loka also, Shankaracharya has given a beautiful meaning. Loka is not something which is a physical world which is somewhere hanging somewhere in the sky. It is something lokyante, drishyante, bhujyante, iti janmani. So that is what he says. Lokyante, loka means aloka. The English root look, English word look, that is something which is seen. Lokyate, that something which is seen. Drishyante, that is the actual meaning. Drishyante means bhujyante, those which are experienced. What are they? Janmani, different lives. A person, the subtle body, transmigrates. We know that what transmigrates is the subtle body. So this transmigration of the subtle body to a higher level or a lower level. A higher level means you have a very nice birth, you have a better birth, whereas if somebody has done only papa karma or sinful deeds, he goes to a lower birth, so lower janma. So that is what he says. So andhena tamasa vrtaha tanste pretya abhigachanti ekesha atmahano janaha. This again is another beautiful word, atmahanaha. They are the people who are committing a spiritual suicide. So that is again a beautiful word, atmahano janaha. Then we have seen in the mantra 4, it talks about the nature of Brahma. Nature of Brahma, we have seen certain say very dramatic expressions in very paradoxical words. That is, anejad ekam manaso javiyah. It does not move, it is one, whereas it is faster than everything else. Manaso javiyah, it is faster than the mind. Then nainad deva apnuvan purvamarsat. In fact, all the indriyas and the mind, they are not able to reach it. And then it is overtaking all other things which are running. Tad dhavatavanyanatyeti. All other things, indriyas and the mind, they are running to reach it. They are running to find it. It is already there. Which means this Brahman, which is otherwise, which in reality is, what is this? Absolute consciousness. This consciousness is all pervading. The Sat and Chit, these things are all pervading. So wherever the mind goes, the Sat and Chit are already there. Only the name and forms, they may be different. The names and forms are different, whereas Sat and Chit are all pervading. So Tishtat Tasminnapo Matarishva Dadhati. Only in the presence of it, the Matarishva, the creator, he is able to apportion the duties to various people. That is, the cosmic order is prevailing only in the presence of this consciousness. So that is it. Then again the fifth mantra also says the same thing. 6th and 7th also. Tadejati, tannaijati, taddure, tadvantike. Then Shankaracharya was saying, na mantranam jamita asti. Because the mantras, they never get tired. The mantras never get tired of repeating a point. To very strongly inject in our minds. Then the 6th mantra talked about the vision of a jnani. The vision of a jnana, what is the vision of a jnani? That is a person who is able to see all the beings in himself. Atmanyeva anupashyati. Yastu sarvani bhutani atmanyeva anupashyati. Sarvani bhutani is in dvitiya bahuvachanam. Dvitiya vibhakti. Bahuvachanam. Yeah, same thing. Atmanyeva anupashyati means how can he see all the beings in himself? That means his Atma is not limited to his say body-mind complex. He has realized that the oneness of Atman. He has realized that the same Atman which is in him is in all the beings. So which means he is one with all. So Atmanyeva anupashyati. He sees them as his own self. He sees everything else, every living being as his own self. So for such a person, Sarvabhuteshu cha Atmanam. In all of them, he sees himself. He sees all of them in himself and sees himself in all other things. Tato na vijugupsate. There is no cause for jugupsa. Jugupsa means shrinking away from something. So this jugupsa, shrinking away or hating or disliking, all that thing appears only when you see duality. So a person who sees oneness, there is no duality. So the oneness, there is no question of hatred or anything. So jnata, jnayam and jnanam, this triputi is there. For in this person, the triputi has disappeared. So in such a person, so there is no question of a personality barrier. There is no barrier or anything. So he is not afraid or he doesn't hate anybody. Then the seventh mantra also is something similar. Yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhutvijanatah. In a slightly different wording, the same mantra, the same meaning is told in the mantra. Sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhut. So all the beings have become one with him. So for him, where is the question of moha, delusion? Where is the question of shoka when he is seeing this oneness? So we also discussed the results, or rather the vision of a jnani, where abhayam pratishtham vindate, he reaches that level of abhayam, that fearlessness, because dvitiyadvai bhayam, that is what the Shruti says. The fear is only, fear arises only when you see duality. When you do not see duality, there is no question of fear. Then, imameva anyopi mantro aha. Then, now it is coming to eighth mantra. Eighth mantra again reverts to the nature of Brahman. Saparyagat, Shukram, Akayam, Avranam, Asnaviram. So here in this mantra we have seen, the first line is almost referring to this Nirguna level. The second line is referring to the Saguna level. You see, Shukram, Akayam, Avranam, Asnaviram, Shuddham, Apapa Viddham, they are all in neuter gender. Like Brahman, they are all in neuter gender. Shukram, Shubhram, that is something which is untouched by any, say, the result of punya or papam. Akayam, it is devoid of, say, the three, Stola Sushma, Karana Shariras, etc. It is beyond that. Then Apapa Viddham. So all these things, it is referring to that pure consciousness, which is untouched by anything. And then second line, it is referring to the Sopadhika Brahma. What is this Sopadhika Brahma? Mayopadhikam Chaitanyam Ishvaraha, we know. In that supreme, say, consciousness, this manifestation of Ishvara is that Mayopadhikam. It is having Maya as the Upadhi. Mayopadhikam means having Maya as the Upadhi. Maya as the delimiting factor. Associated with Maya, in very, very simple terms, associated with that Maya, associated with that creative power. So that is called Ishvara. So the second line talks about that. Kavihi, Manishihi, Paribhuhu, Swayambhuhu, etc., etc. Yatha Dathyataha, Arthan, Vyadadhat. So all the things, the whole universal calendar till eternity, the universal calendar for eternity has been given here. Shashvatibhyas Samabhyah. That is for eternal number of years. All the duties have been allotted. The sun will move in a particular orbit, the moon will move in a particular orbit. All other things will be in a particular form only, and then it is moving on like that. So then, ninth mantra onwards, there is a shift. Before the ninth mantra, Shankaracharya again had a small review. Atra Adhyana Mantrena, we did a small review in the beginning of ninth mantra. Ninth mantra, he made a beginning. What all we discussed now, he recapitulated and told. The ninth mantra to 11th mantra, we have seen Andham Tamah Pravishanti Avidyam Upasate. that is, those who follow the path of karma, they go to andham tamaha, they go to blinding darkness. Those who leave karma and only do upasana, it is as though they go to a greater darkness. So that is what it says. Then what does it mean? These two independent, they are not useless. It is called nahi ninda nyayam, I told you. Nahi ninda nyayam means this sort of criticizing, this sort of ninda, this sort of blaming is not to totally denounce them. It is not to say that they are absolutely useless, but to say that something else is better. Nahi ninda nyayam means you are not shouting at a fellow just to shout down, but to say that something else is better. So that is what it is. Andham tamah pravishanti. So here again, this sort of samuchaya in these three mantras, this samuchaya has been described. This samuchaya, this discussion we have studied in very great detail. Then when it comes to 12th mantra, Anyadeva Hurvidyaya, okay, there is a long discussion in this 11th mantra also. This 12th mantra, we have come to this another combination of this Sambhuti Upasana and Asambhuti Upasana. Sambhuti Upasana is Hiranyagarbha Upasana, Asambhuti Upasana is Prakriti Upasana. So this difference also we discussed. That is, what is Hiranyagarbha? In that Mayavachinnam Chaitanyam, the first awareness, the first notion of I, that is what is Hiranyagarbha. The first notion of I, that is Hiranyagarbha, that is the subtle body. That Hiranyagarbha is also called a Jiva, Prathamo Jiva he is called. And in that Hiranyagarbha, that is what is called Sambhuti. Sambhuti means something which is born. Asambhuti means something which is still unmanifest. That is Mayavachinnam Chaitanyam only, still in that avyakta state. That Mayavachinnam Chaitanyam is still in that avyakta state, that Prakriti, isn't it? So that Prakriti Upasaka is in a slightly higher level. So that is what we see. So this is again what we said is something like a metaphysical speculation or theological speculation. So here, what did we see here? The people who follow the Sambhuti Upasana, they reach Hiranyagarbha level. So they are supposed to be there along with the Hiranyagarbha, and then right at the time of Hiranyagarbha again, he has got a lifetime, isn't it? At the end of the lifetime, they are supposed to merge in the Brahman. So Prakriti Laya is slightly longer. Prakriti is something longer. The Avyakta is the Karanam. This Hiranyagarbha is the cause, Karyam. So Karyam resolves into Karanam, isn't it? So Hiranyagarbha resolves into Prakriti only. So that Prakriti Laya, it will be still there in that Prakriti only. So Prakriti Laya is still higher. So from that point of view, a Samuchaya Upasana of this Hiranyagarbha and Prakriti Laya, it has been told. The problem now is, nobody does these upasanas. So that is why we are not aware of as to what was the procedure of this Hiranyagarbha Upasana, etc. Procedure of this Hiranyagarbha Upasana, Prakriti Laya Upasana. Maybe some Mahatma may be there somewhere aware of these things. But normally, we do not come across people who are doing these upasanas. What all meditation we do is the guided meditation by some Swamiji. Swamiji says, okay, you watch your mind, you do this, you realize that you see, you be aware of every thought, you watch every thought of yours, observe the thoughts coming and going, say let them not disturb you. You are the pure awareness, you are only a witness for all these thoughts which come and go. So something like that they keep saying for about half an hour. And then it is a good exercise. It is not as though it is something wrong. We are doing probably in a more practical way. And then this is something not invented by the modern Swamis. This is one important thing we have to note is that this is not something which is an invention of the modern Swamis. It is something which Shankaracharya has been saying, what the Upanishads have been saying. Upanishads have been saying, you do this Omkara Upasana like this. We have seen in this Mundakopanishad about Omkara Upasana, how that Upasana has to be done. Then Shankaracharya in some other Prakaranas, for example, he says, Mano Buddhya Hankara Chittani Naham. So that is again a Upasana only. That is again a meditation. That is, okay, sit and then see whether you are the mind, whether you are the Buddhi, whether you are the Chittam or Ahankara. You are not any of them. So like that, you are negating the lower self. You are negating your idea or identification with a lower self, and then you are going to higher and higher level, identifying with a higher and higher level. So that is what we see in all these Prakarana Granthas also. So this meditation is something which is not a new, it is not an invention of the, say, modern teachers. So this Sambhuti and Asambhuti Upasana, this Samuchaya has been told up to 14th mantra, 12th, 13th and 14th. 15th mantra, as we saw, is a very, very interesting mantra. That is Hiranmayena Patrena. In fact, so many people have given so many commentaries on this, so many types of interpretations. We have not gone into all those things. We have only adopted what Shankaracharya has said. Because somebody has said, even from a communist point of view, one writer has given an interpretation. Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasya Apihitam Mukham. That is, the truth of, the face of truth has been hidden by all glitter and all that glamour and glitter. So like that, the truth is hidden and then only falsehood is seen. So in a communist writer, in his own way, he has interpreted this thing. So we are not going into that. What we have seen is this Hiranmaya Patra. I explained to you what this Patra is. Patra means a vessel. Vessel means something which stores something. That is all the vasanas and samskaras which are there in the mind. And then Patra is something with which we also use, we enjoy. That is our own mind, Antahkarana, with which we enjoy. And at the same time, it can also be used as a cover. So our own ego, our own personality, our own notion of I. So that is what is, hiding the truth. So you are seeking the help of the divine to remove this lid, because our own identity, our own I is clashing. Our own I is covering the truth. So that is why we are requesting this Hiranmaya Tattvam Pushan Apavrunu. O son, you remove that thing so that Satya Dharmaya Dushtaye, I who am Satya Dharma, I can have a proper vision. This Satya Dharma is a new word here. That is, one who is following the path of Dharma, Satya Dharma, one who is abiding in the path of Dharma, Satya. So I am the seeker of Satya. So for me to see, for me to realize that Satyam, so you please remove that lid. That lid actually is his own self. So he is only seeking a divine help. Then 16th and 17th, 18th mantras also, they refer to upasanas. Pushan Nekarshe, Yamasurya Prajapatya. Then again, whatever has been told in the 15th, it is again further request. What is told in 15th, he is further elaborating in the 16th. Again, addressing the same Pushan, Ekarshe, Yama, Surya, Prajapatya. We saw the meanings of all these words. What is the meaning of Yama, Surya, Prajapatya, etc., etc. So, that Hiranmaya Patra is the same. Ikkada Vyuha Rashmin Samuha. This Rashmi means the rays, the bright rays. What are these bright rays? What we saw earlier in that Hiranmaya Patra, they are the same Rashmi here. What we saw is the Hiranmaya Patra, the glamour and glitter, this Antahkarana, the Aham Karta, Aham Bhokta, all that notion. So that is the same Hiranmaya Patra which is referred to here as Rashmi. Vyuha Rashmin Samuha, Samuha Tejaha, Yatte Rupam Kalyanatamam. What is that? Your benevolent Rupam, your benevolent form, so that I can see. Then, in the 17th mantra again is asking for, say, Vayu Ranil. This is again the words of a person who is about to die, a person who is about to leave the world, depart from the world. Vayu Ranilam Amrutam Athedam Bhasmantam Shariram Kratos Smara Krutam Smara. So you recall all the good deeds which have been done, by me, and then see that let this be the end, let this be the final, body for me. That is a wish. Let this be the final body for me. Then again, the 18th mantra also says, Punaranyeva mantrena margam yachate. What does it say? Agnenaya supatharaye asman. O Agni. This is again a prayer to Agni. Earlier it was to Pushan. Here it is to Agni. Because Agni is the medium through which all the karma has been done by him. So Agnenaya supatharaye asman. for enjoying the result of whatever karmas have been, say, performed by me, you lead us on a bright path. Supatha, by that word Supatha, we saw that it is to exclude the Pitruloka. It is to exclude the Pitruyana. He is asking for Devayana. So we have seen what is Pitruyana and what is Devayana both in Gita Bhashya and some other places. And in this Upanishad also we discussed what is Pitruyana and Devayana. So there, here again he requests, Yuyodhyasmat Juhurana Menaha. You dispel all our sinful activities. You dispel means you neutralize, you condone. He is requesting for a condonation. And Asmat Juhurana Meno, Bhuyishtham Te Nama Uktim Vidhema is at the end of his life. He is not able to again perform any, say, rituals, etc. We are not capable of all those things, so you please excuse us. Bhuyishtham Te Nama Uktim Vidhema, because we are not able to perform all those things. I can only salute you several times. So that is what he says. Then finally, we saw the discussion here about Jnana Karma Samuchayavada, how this Jnana Karma Samuchayavada cannot stand, and again how the main meaning for Vidya cannot be taken here in the mantras 9 to 11. Main meaning for Amritam cannot be taken. So the secondary meaning for Vidya has to be taken there. So that is how we discussed this whole thing. And we have seen how Shankaracharya has made a few points which we have to note. That is, he has prioritized between among karma, upasana and jnana. Karma is at the lowest level, then again higher is upasana, and then again the only level to be achieved is, the highest level to be achieved is realization. So that sort of thing he has done. So maybe I was also telling, Shankaracharya we can see in this book, not only in this book, everywhere in his commentaries, we can see him as a reformer also. Because people talk about Shankaracharya as a reformer. In what manner? Because prior to this Bhashyam, we have to presume that there was a lot of emphasis more on rituals only. Ritual means yajna, etc. Yajna means again some killing of an animal, etc. So all these things, he gave them a secondary place, and at a doctrinal level he established. If he simply says, no, this is not important, you don't do this, you follow the path of karma, nobody will listen. So he has taken the Upanishads, and from the Upanishads themselves, he has established, from the Upanishads, reading of the Upanishads itself, he has established that the main meaning of the Vedas is to talk about the highest goal, that is moksha, and the main purpose of the Veda is not for this pravrutti dharma. Nivrutti dharma is the highest. So he has established at a doctrinal level, by establishing a proper doctrine, he has shown that this is at a lower level and the knowledge is something which has to be sought, which has to be attained. So this is the great contribution we have to see here. So I think thus we can end the discussion on the Ishavasya Upanishad. We will take up some other Upanishad next time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi.